right, y'all. So I didn't mean to lie, but I just didn't know that the WWE wasn't pushing back WrestleMania. I just didn't realize that. So this is actually my recap of WrestleMania because y'all know I do WWE too. I got to do WWE too. So the next video after this will be John Jones. Okay. So it was a 2-day event, and honestly, under these circumstances, I actually thought that they did a good job. Let's go ahead and run this down. So first up, we started off with the women's tag team champions, and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross beat the Kabuki Warriors to become the new women's tag team champions. It was a good match. It was slow starting with the whole, again, no audience, so they had to get all that energy from within. They showcased Nikki Cross, who I like, so I was glad that she got showcased the way she should have a long time ago, and her without the audience, honestly, still a ball of energy. She didn't get the pin though, but I'm glad that they're the new champs. And I also think that Asuka should be a solo wrestler, so there's that. Next up, Elias beat King Corbin. That's all I'm going to say about that because I don't really care about either one of them. Next up, I was disappointed by this. Okay, so Becky Lynch kept her belt she's the Raw Women's Champion, kept her belt against Shayna Baszler. Not only do I like them both, I really like Shayna Baszler. I thought she was going to get the belt. Now, Becky's had it for like a year. I mean, I think it's getting kind of stale there for me. This was a great match, hard hitting, felt more like a fight. However, it was just way too short. It was literally like 10 minutes. Like literally like 10 minutes. I have no idea why it was so short. Hopefully no one got hurt. Let me know if someone got injured and if that's why it was so short. So Becky Lynch did a counter to the Karafuda clutch, and she ended up pinning her that way, so she kept the belt. So next up, Sami Zayn kept his belt against Daniel Bryan. There was some interference, of course, from Cesaro and Shinsuke, and Drew came out and had some words with them, but he was able to keep his belt, and I like Sami Zayn. I like him with the belt, so I was happy about that. Next up, my favorite match of the entire event, period. And this was the triple threat ladder match for the tag team championships. Only one member from each team was represented. Someone let me know why. They just trying to be cautious, or did someone test positive, or someone, let me know why that was. But either way, these three dudes, they put it down. This was the only match where you forgot that the audience wasn't there. All of the energy, all the intensity, everything came from them, and they delivered. So we saw, then they kept their belts. We saw John Morrison, who was a representative for Miz and Morrison. They kept their belts, or he kept the belt for them against Kofi Kingston, who was representing Kingston and Big E, and Jimmy Uso, who was representing the Usos, Jimmy and John. And again, these three, I mean, ladders everywhere, ladders everywhere. I mean, outside the ring, inside the ring, they was flying off the ladders, flowing underneath the ladders. They was throwing the ladders off each other. They was jumping off the top rope. They was putting their bodies on the line. Things looked very real. You could tell that they trust each other. The chemistry, the match was fantastic and really lifted it was like the event really started. The event started when these guys came down, and it was just a great match. Again, my favorite match of the entire event, and I'm glad that Miz and Morrison kept the belts. Actually, I like them as tag team champions, and they haven't had it for very long, so I'm happy about that. Let's see. Next up, okay, so Rob Gronkowski was the ex-Patriots Super Bowl champ, was the host for this event. So him and his real life, like really close friend Mojo Riley, my bad, was Mojo were doing their host thing when the 24/7 champ R-Truth came over there next to them, trying to get a little breather from always having to have his head on a swivel there, and then he forgot, oh yeah, these are two big boys too. And actually it was Rob who hit him first, but then Mojo threw Rob off of him like really hard, and Mojo actually got the pin, and Mojo became the 24/7 champ, and then basically looked at his boy like, come at me, and walked off. Next up, now my next favorite match actually of the night, and this was Kevin Owens, who kept his belt. Kevin Owens, who beat Seth Rollins in. So first, the match was disqualified because Seth Rollins came in with the ring bell, hit him with that, so there's disqualification. And then Kevin Owens is like, bump that, we're going to solve this now, be a man, come back. So he's like, okay, no DQ match now. So now we got chairs and all kinds of things coming out, and it ended with Kevin Owens coming off of the Wrestlemania sign onto Seth, who was on the announcer's table. Then he dragged him into the ring, got a stunner, and got the pin. And this was one of the few matches where not having an audience actually lend itself to the drama because you could really hear everything they were saying and they were talking throughout the whole match. Same thing with the ladder match too. They were just really funny in what they were saying throughout the match. Like, I'm gonna get you, boy. I gotta do this, son. Yeah, that's all you got. So the ladder match, it was funny to hear everything they had to say. And for this match, because they're both really good on the mic, you really felt like there was real animosity, like there was a real fight, like it felt like really dramatic, like a So it not having the audience there, you didn't mind it with this match. And like I said, and this was just a really good match because both of them are fantastic. So now we have the main event. Are we to the main event? Oh no, we're not to the main event yet. I just can't wait. Next up, real quick, we saw Braun Strowman defeat Goldberg. I think we all knew Goldberg was going to get defeated. Tell me why it wasn't Roman Reigns. Either way, I like Braun Strowman. And so let's see. Let's do this exciting recap of what happened. Goldberg hit him with 4 spears, and then he went for the jackhammer, and then he didn't get the jackhammer, and then Braun Strowman did a power slam, and then he did 3 more power slams, and then he did get the pin. But I'm happy Braun Strowman got the win. Now, main event. Okay. So this is the first of the 2 pre-recorded, pre-films, like little mini movies that we had here for WrestleMania. And this was the graveyard match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles. And let's just go ahead and get into this. I liked it. It was so corny, so campy, so cheesy. It reminded me back, honestly, when I was a kid and they used to do like dream sequences and all kinds of stuff outside of the ring all the time. And so that's why I liked it. It just kind of warmed my heart. Now, also, Undertaker, if you're going to keep fighting once a year on WrestleMania, do this. Because it being pre-taped, you could have your little breaks and stuff. You look good. They shot you from the right angles. You look good. So if you're going to continue to wrestle, do it like this. Do a pre-fight. All right. Pre-recorded fight. So first comes up the coffin, and inside the coffin, it's AJ Styles, not the Undertaker. And then Undertaker comes up on his bike, so we're seeing motorcycle Undertaker. Now, and they start fighting. They're fighting all over the place, they're throwing dirt all over each other, all the stuff that could be in a graveyard, you know what I'm saying? And they're on top of the van at one point. They're by a barn at one point, and we saw Carl and Luke come out, of course, and a bunch of people dressed in death masks. And then so Undertaker had to fight all the guys in the death masks, and then he had to fight Carl and Luke Gallows, and then he was getting the better of them, he was whooping them, and then here comes AJ with literally like a huge block of cement, and bow, and he hits the Undertaker with the block of cement. And then so he gets a shovel and he's beating the Undertaker. Oh, well, not yet. Then he spears him through like a barn wall, and then he's beating the Undertaker back to where the pre-dug grave is at. He takes a shovel and he hits him in the back, and the Undertaker falls into the grave. He gets onto the little tractor thing to push the dirt on top of him. Then a thing of light comes out, and Undertaker is behind him. Somehow he teleported from out of the grave, and he starts beating up AJ Styles, and AJ Styles gets beat off the little tractor thing. Then he runs up a ladder on top of the barn. Then Undertaker goes on top of the barn, and then he makes fire. Wow, fire blows up behind AJ Styles. Mind you, they're talking trash the entire time. Who's the old man now? Who's know what you got now, old man? Okay, and then Carl and Luke get on top of the barn. He runs one of them off the barn. Then he tombstones the other one. Then he choke slams AJ Styles off the barn onto like a pile of wood onto the bottom. It actually looked really good. Then he goes down, takes AJ Styles, carries him over to the grave, puts him down. Before he gets into the grave, then AJ's begging, please don't do it, man, please don't do it. Then he kicks AJ Styles into the grave. Then he goes over to the little tractor thing, and then he pushes the dirt over him. He raises his hand, the music starts playing, and then the camera pans down, and all you see is AJ Styles' hand sticking out of the grave. It was awesome. It was awesome. I loved it. I loved it. It's so corny. Okay, day 2. This started off with the NXT Championship, and I was surprised by this. I thought Rhea Ripley was going to keep the belt. She did not. She lost to Charlotte Flair. And you know me, I love the Queen. So, but I like both of these ladies, but I thought she was going to keep the belt. And this was a great match. It was like 30 minutes long, and they both performed great. They put their bodies on the line. They sold the story. It ended in the figure 8, and this was just good job, ladies. Good job. Next up, Aleister Black defeated Bobby Lashley. I could have done without that. Next up, Otis beat Dolph Ziggler. I think we all knew this would happen. This match suffered the most from their not having an audience. With the whole Beauty and the Beast story, with the portrayal of the best friend and all of that, you kind of needed the audience to do the oohs and the ahs and to react to all the hokiness and all of that sort of thing. So that it suffered from not having the audience there. And it ended with Sonya Deville trying to distract the ref, and then Dolph did a low blow to Otis, but then Mandy came out. Miss Moore came came out. I think it's no, Mandy Rose, Miss Moore. Mandy came out. She beat up Sonya. Then she went around to the ring and she actually did a low blow to Dolph Ziggler, which allowed Otis to get the pin. And then Otis picked her up, and then they kissed. And I knew they were gonna kiss, but I mean, they kissed. It looked like real. I mean, it was like lengthy. Like it was like a kiss. He was like a faker. No, I'm gonna get me some. He said, "It's a kiss." So anyway, that's how that ended. Now, so next, Edge defeated Orton in the last man standing match, and I think we knew that he would win. And I was really looking forward to this, and it was really disappointing because it was just far, far too long. It was literally an hour long. It should have been 20 minutes, 30 at the most, and it would have been okay. So we started off in the ring. We went all over the performance center. They were in the weight room, in the hallway and stairway, in the office room, it ended in the storage room, basically. They basically just went everywhere, bouncing each other off of all the surfaces, off the weights, off the walls, off the floor, off the tables, off the chairs, off the... At one point, the funniest part for me is when they actually ran into the cameraman, because it looked real. Someone let me know if it was staged or not, because it looked real. Edge ran into the cameraman, and the cameraman totally fell. Poop, you saw the camera on the floor. So it was hilarious. Hopefully the cameraman's fine. Hilarious. So anyway, ended up in the storage facility. They're on top of a diesel truck, and Edge chokes out Randy Orton, then gives him a concerto. And again, it was just way too long. The whole show came to a halt because of that match. Ugh. Next up, so Mojo Rawley, who's the 24/7 champ, he's running out of the back. He's being chased by some wrestlers. They pile on top of him. They're beating him up. Then you see Rob Gronkowski on top of the perch. And even though I knew this was going to happen, it still made me smile. He jumped off the perch onto all the wrestlers, and then he pinned Mojo. And now Rob Gronkowski is the 24/7 champ. Like I said, knew it was going to happen. It still made me smile. Yeah, anyway. So next up, we saw the Raw Tag Team Champions, Street Profits, beat Angel Garza and Austin Theory. It was a short match. It was decent. Afterwards, Angel and them tried to attack them afterwards, and Miss Zelina made the mistake of putting her hands on Mr. Montez Ford, and Montez Ford's wife, Miss Bianca Belair, came up out there, whooped up on Zelina. And I was just really happy because I know that they're married. We all know they're married, and I want them to work together. So hopefully we'll see some nice, funny stuff to come because they both have great personalities. Next up, we saw the women's SmackDown Championship match. It was Bayley against Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, Tamina, and Naomi. And Bayley kept the belt, and I didn't think she was. I thought they were going to give it to Lacey Evans or have a Sasha double cross. I actually didn't think she was going to, because they kept saying she's the longest reigning SmackDown champ, longest reigning. Normally when they do that, they usually take the belt. So I'm kind of glad that they're not foreshadowing like that anymore. Either way, so the order was they ganged up on Tamina, of course, got her out of there first, then Naomi, then Sasha. Then Sasha came back from being behind the scenes and did a backstabber to Lacey Evans, and that's how Bayley kept the belt. So, and Bayley had some funny things to say during the match too that were funny that you could hear. Okay, so now Bray Wyatt defeated John Cena in this Firefly Funhouse match. You have to see it. You have to watch it for yourself. It's really like an art piece, like an art history, WWE, John Cena's social live interaction sort of thing from the mind of the Fiend / Sweater Wyatt, which is what I'm going to call him, because Sweater Wyatt was basically the narrator throughout this. It was pre-recorded, pre-done, of course. They both played multiple characters throughout the whole thing, but again, narrated by Bray Wyatt. It was his fun house, and he was taking John Cena through a journey of his career, basically, from the beginning. And throughout the whole thing, John Cena started off as young John Cena and the whole outfit and everything. John actually was, like I said, they both were different wrestlers. At one point, Bray Wyatt was Eric Bischoff, and throughout the whole thing, they're trying to fight inside of the ring. He's trying to fight with Sweater Wyatt. Every time he tries to hit him, he can't, but Sweater Wyatt can hit him. And it's just basically Bray Wyatt's perspective saying, your image of who you are isn't who you are. You haven't earned a thing. And here's the contrast. Here's me, who always gets beat down. And which bred the Fiend. I had to create the Fiend to be who I am, sort of thing. Oh, God. It ended with the Fiend coming out, getting the mandible claw. He slammed down John Cena, and then Sweater Wyatt counted the pin. So the Fiend got the win, but because the Fiend is Bray Wyatt got the win. I don't even know how I feel about it. But out of the two pre-recorded matches, I have to go with the Undertaker because I'm gonna rewatch this fun Firehouse thing. But okay. And last but of course not least, we saw a short match between Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar, and I was surprised. Whenever Brock Lesnar loses, I'm surprised. I don't watch Raw. I mean, I'm surprised every time he loses, and he lost. And basically, he hit him with a do the same thing I did with Goldberg. He hit him with a bunch of F5s, and then Paul Heyman said, just keep doing it. He can't keep kicking out, but then he did keep kicking out, and then Drew hit him with a bunch of Claymores, and then finally Brock Lesnar didn't kick out. So I like Drew McIntyre, so I don't mean to do you like that, bro. I like Drew McIntyre. Let's see what he can do with his chance being the Universal Champion. So that's my recap of both nights. Watch it for yourself. Like I said, especially under the circumstances, it actually wasn't a bad show. My favorite match, of course, is the triple threat, but there, like I said, there's some other matches there that are definitely worthwhile, especially with what they had to deal with. You have to check out the pre-recorded matches with The Undertaker and AJ Styles and the Firefly Funhouse match. You have to check those out. So let me know what you thought of everything after you do. Give me any updates and injury updates, because there's a lot of people who were supposed to be there that weren't. So let me know if there was injuries, if there was coronavirus issues, if they're just being extra safe. Let me know what you think should come after this, how you felt about the entire thing, especially about the pre-recorded matches, of course. What was your favorite matches? What was your least favorite matches and why? And follow me on Facebook and Laura, I'm talking so much. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm on Snapchat. Talk to me. Take care.